Hello again everybody and a very warm welcome back to the channel. Today we're in DCS 2.9, the latest version, and we're exploring the new Orbx Kola map, just released in early access and available to purchase. Now, whopping 153 gigabytes size, roughly 145 gigabytes, and actually downloaded in a pretty short space of time. So hit like, hit subscribe, share your thoughts down in the comments below as we go and explore this map as a new DCS FA-18 pilot learning the ropes. So we get airborne and get the gear retracted nice and quick, get those flaps up as well. And we're going to work into this beautiful scenery for the very first time when the altitude alerts. So this is the first product from Orbx for the DCS community, obviously a highly respected, well-known development team within the Microsoft Flight Simulator and indeed the X-Plane world for civilian airliners. Now, this is in early access, so elements of this aren't actually complete. The area we're in at the moment, having just departed Bodo, is still yet to be touched somewhat, but as you can see as we venture through the fjords, what we have is this remarkably stunning landscape down below. Not, of course, Microsoft Flight Simulator level of quality, but it wouldn't be. This is a completely different sim with a different engine, and of course Microsoft Flight Simulator's stunning graphics come from the fact that we haven't got 150 gigabytes worth of scenery loaded in, because it's actually streaming the data from the cloud in most cases. Orbx, of course, for MSFS users, you'll be familiar, have created the Alaska mesh, New Zealand mesh, and various other installable mesh enhancements for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and that therefore means that they've got a little bit of previous development history working away at rather nice vast landscapes, and actually this is pretty stunning. Winter textures aren't complete yet. It's summer textures are the ones that you want at the moment, but look at that vast landscape there. This is sunrise at the minute. It's utterly stunning. Level at about Angels 25. This is where the scenery really starts to come into its own. In fact, if I just get rid of the helmet mounted display there, you can see into the distance how spectacular this is. We've got those contrails and this pretty spectacular Finnish Air Force livery as well. And because this isn't streaming the data, it's able to render in the level of detail from really far away. There is a section of this around the Finnish and Russian border which is deemed complete, and that gives you Murmansk and that kind of southern region down to Rovaniemi and Kemi-Tornio. Now, of course, as with all things like this, you're not going to get really high detail down low, and in fact in Microsoft Flight Simulator you don't get that either, even with the enhanced photogrammetry. Sure, some of the bases, Bodo, Rovaniemi, all the rest of it, could do with a little bit of polish. Some of the hardened aircraft shelters I've seen have got dirt instead of like sort of cemented or concrete floors. But most of the battle is going to be done from this kind of altitude in the air, and when we're running in to drop some payload down, maybe send a couple of MAVs down towards some targets on the ground or a couple of paveways, we're going to be doing about 400 knots. We're not going to look at those finite details down below real slow. Of course, if you're flying Apaches and you love a bit of rotor work in DCS, you might notice some of those textures a little bit more than we would in fixed-wing fast jets. But I think it's still pretty good, certainly from somebody new to DCS, having been routing around on the Persia map and the Syria map. I think they've done a really good job of this so far. Now you get a lot of green trees, and there is in fact a road-based runway as well, which you can make use of, which is really cool. Of course, famous for those Swedish and Finnish ops off highways and roads, short runways, in fact sort of forest-based airfields for rapid sneaky deployments. So it opens up a whole new complexity to your abilities and operations in DCS. Now in early access this is $55.99 US, and when it's released in full price shortly it will be $69.99 US, and you can buy it from Orbx or direct on the DCS website as well. Now when you look at Rovaniemi for example in Finland, it doesn't look too dissimilar terminal building wise than Microsoft Flight Simulator, so it's instantly recognisable in that sense, but as you can see the quality is nowhere near as good, but that's again because it's an entirely different simulator. One thing that of course I would really like to see would be a little bit more ground clutter, perhaps around the military elements of these airfields, but otherwise I think actually what they've managed to do is for the very first product in DCS, entirely different to that of Microsoft Flight Simulator, is create a really good early access bit of scenery. Instantly recognisable though. In daylight hours, what does really stand out, as you can see here, is the greenery. It looks really, really good. Certainly compared to that of the desert-esque maps that we're kind of stuck with. I haven't tried Marianas, I've heard that that is a little bit more green as well. But at higher speeds, you're not going to notice lots of little elements around you necessarily. What they have tried to do is harness sort of Scandinavian or Russian themed towns down below, so we would see the buildings that we would expect in those areas. So my thoughts as a new DCS pilot, being predominantly used to Microsoft Flight Simulator, is that they've actually done quite a nice job. It's early access, I trust being their first product, they're going to be working really hard at solving and expanding some of the issues, expanding the map fairly quickly, fairly promptly in comparison to what the forum's been saying about previous early access items by DCS themselves and so on and so forth. But ultimately, if they want to get this right, and it's their first ever product for DCS, then they're going to put a lot of work and effort and time into this, I'd like to think. And all round, I think it's a really nice, positive map. Offers something different to all of the deserts that we currently have available, and certainly with Afghanistan coming soon as well, more deserts. So yeah, let us know what you think down in the comment section below. Hopefully you've enjoyed this little introductory video to Kola by Orbx, and hopefully you join me in a live stream very soon, whether it be Microsoft Flight Simulator or indeed DCS. But in the meantime, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Take care.